Hey, what's up, everybody? This is your boy Kenny, and this is How to Get Away with Murder, Season 4, Episode 13. And the name of this episode is Lahey versus the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. This was a good episode, and again, it's a continuation of Olivia and Annalise in their quest to lead this trial to the Supreme Court. The class action suit. So pretty much we see that Olivia and Annalise are arguing over the talking points of how they're going to present their argument to the Supreme Court. We see that Michaela and Asher, Michaela's packing because she's going with Annalise. She's going to join Annalise in D.C. And pretty much, Asher is being very supportive and saying that, look, I'm not going to let my boss girl stay back here and give up on her dream. I want to see my girl win. And I'm like, yo, this shit is going to crush the shit out of Asher, if she goes down this road with Marcus. But I'm going to get to that. But yeah, we've seen that, Asher is in love with Michaela. And we're seeing that Michaela obviously is vying for something else. And I'm definitely going to break this down in this episode too. So we see that going on. Then we see Oliver and Connor. Oliver is like, look, we need to go to D.C. and be a part of this. I know you're not a part of the case anymore, but, you should still be supportive. But he's like, look, I'm trying to go to the dean and re-enroll in school and all of that. But he's like, look, we're going to go to D.C. This is going to be an adventure. We can actually do some touring while we're there and everything. So he agrees to go. But we see that Connor really don't want to be involved because Michaela literally stole his spot on the case now. And pretty much, they also, we also see that, so we got that going on. My bad. So then we also see, that Bonnie and Frank meet up and they're talking about Laurel and about, Frank's, where they pretty much talk about, Laurel's mom. And, that he actually, he's pretty much telling Bonnie, I met up with her. And she pretty much told me a story that, she did meet up with Wes, and they actually offered him $100,000 to stay away from Laurel. And, I want you to kind of like look into Wes's bank account or whatever to see if there's I want you to kind of look into his bank account to see was there money deposited in his account. So she said she'll check it out, but then she kind of let him know that you need to tell Laurel about this. And he says that, look, if we can trace this, we won't need to tell Laurel anything. But let's take it one step at a time. But he's saying that Laurel needs to know the truth about her mother. But then we also see this woman whose name is Ingrid Egan, who's pretty much is going to be on the defense side, of the Supreme Court, and she is, talking to the press, and she is nasty. She not only read Annalise, but then even read Olivia, throwing out all their flaws and all that. They're about to see that they're playing a new game now, so it's like, okay, it's game on. And then, they put, Michaela and Marcus on a stakeout to kind of spy on Ingrid and see where she's getting all the information and everything. And then we see that there's this pizza guy who's delivering pizzas and all this stuff. And one of the lawyers that she's got a lot of favor with is Judge Strickland. So, and he's one of the main judges on the panel. So they noticing that this guy is delivering pizza and all this stuff, and then we definitely see that there's some chemistry between Marcus and Michaela, and she's like, it's just funny that she's like, I have a boyfriend. He's like, yeah, Asher, I know. He's like, yes, but I love him very dearly, and even though you're charming and intelligent, something that I thought I always wanted. Yeah. So we pretty much see that, Michaela has a type. But then again, I'm not surprised because of the way her and Asher got together, she got with him over the fallout with Caleb, you know, the guy with the Catskills case who was the actual killer. So here it is, she fell in love with the killer, and Asher was after the aftermath of him killing the DA, you know, and also him breaking up with Bonnie. And that's how Michaela and Asher became to be. So it was kind of like they both were rebounding off of something, but within that process, Asher has truly fallen in love with Michaela, but Michaela, obviously we see, has a different taste that Asher just doesn't fit. So I'm thinking, this is going to be interesting. So, but yeah, they find out that the guy who was the pizza guy was actually, you know, a guy that works, you know, that pretty much works, you know, for one of the judges. And they was asking, like, so what are you feeding her information? Well, really what they were giving her was just, you know, lead questionnaires to kind of like sabotage their case. So yeah. And Olivia clocked his ass. His name was Nick. She's like, Nick, get over here. Nick, don't run away from me. And I was just like, wow, this shit was so hilarious. So then we also see at this case, this is the first case of the term at the Supreme Court, and it's Nate Lahey Sr.'s case. We see, you know, Nate come down to, you know, he pretty much goes to meet with his father, and he tells his father that, look, we're going to the Supreme Court. And Elise did it. She's taking this to the Supreme Court. You know, you get to finally argue your case. And we actually see that, you know, the father is starting to come around and everything. And we also see that, not only that, but we see Annalise's mom and father come in. So shout out to Cicely Tyson. You know, still doing it in her 90s and looks flawless, honey. Looks great, just black and regal. She comes in, you know, we actually know that she has dementia, and, you know, she's like, oh, I made some beef stew and biscuits, baby. Pull out that Tupperware bowl, daddy. And we actually see that, you know, Annalise and her father is getting along too. So we see that they have worked on their relationship, because she hugged her dad, and she was happy that, you know, her dad is there taking care of her, and we see that they're in a good place. But then they eating food and everything, and, you know, she actually supports them. She supports Annalise and supports Olivia. She's saying, oh yes, I know you. Yeah, you that girl, you that, you know, you that girl. And then Annalise is trying to say, well, she's like, I ain't talking to you, I'm talking to her. Yeah, she's like, I'm Olivia Pope. She's like, oh yeah, the girl on the TV. I told you it was her. You know, so she's a fan of Olivia's, and she was talking to them, and she says, I'm really proud that you girls are doing this. And she says that, hell, this system has been broken damn near my whole life. And I'm glad that the two of you are coming together to actually make this, to actually lead this fight, to see to it that our young men finally get good representation and no longer be railroaded by the system. And she was even saying that, you know, no wonder why there's a lot of single mothers out here. A lot of these black men are locked up. You know, no wonder why Annalise had to go and marry a white man. I was like, Mama don't be shying away from nothing, because, you know, Mama didn't like saying it. She let it be known. So then all of a sudden we get a knock on the door, and it's Nate. And immediately they love you know, Mama Sophia and the daddy, they love Nate. He's like, boy, you don't gotta be so formal, son. I'm like, he calling him son and everything. So he's like, they like Nate. and she introduces Nate to Olivia Pope, and immediately it finally rang the bell, like Nate Lahey, you know, and she's like, oh no, the case is my father, I'm his son. So immediately she's like, you mean to tell me the first damn case is your ex-boyfriend? Really, bitch? And they kind of go back and forth about it, but she's saying that, look, you know, this, you know, let's do this. We're going to fight it. It is what it is, you know, unless you're afraid. And she's saying that, look, you pretty much want me to, you know, you actually are using your ex-boyfriend as the first case? And she says that, hey, your ex-boyfriend was locked up, so what's the point? And she's like, look, it's about this about your reputation. This could look bad for you. Or she's like, or are you afraid because it's going to look bad for you? She's saying that, look, I'm doing something that matters, and this matters to me more than anything. So that got Olivia on board, like, yeah, let's do this. And then all of a sudden we see Michaela and Marcus are in the car. They're going back and forth, and we see that Ashton texts her, lets them know that they just got in town, because the rest of them, Asher, Laurel, Connor, and Oliver, they drove down there. So she says, like, well, we would have gotten a ticket, but obviously her mom and dad beat us to that, so we got to drive. So they drove all the way from Philadelphia to D.C., which is pretty much like about like a 4-hour drive, depending on how fast you go. But yeah, it's about usually like about 3 to 4 hour drive from Philly to D.C. So they hit the highway. So next Asher texts Michaela to know that they're in town, and she just sends a thumbs up. But she's with Marcus, and she's saying that, look, they just got back in town. Asher said they just arrived, and he's like, okay, fine, then I can actually take you there with them, and we can just reconvene later. She was like, I just don't get it. Why are you such this great guy, but you don't have anybody? And he says that I did have someone, but she actually, decided to shoot something that was bigger than myself, and I support her in that. But that's why I'm alone. And we all know he's talking about Millie. And then next thing you know, she's like, I want you so much. And they start kissing, and next thing you know, he's taking off his shirt, and they are getting it on in the car. I'm like, see, that's what Asher was supposed to got, but Marcus done got that. So we're going to see how this going to play out. So we actually see that, Nate Jr. and Nate Sr. are getting prepared for the day in court. He actually shaves his father, and he's saying that, and like, he's trying to prep him, but then Nate Sr.'s like, what, you think I can't talk or something? He's like, no, I just want you to be prepared. He's like, look, I've been quiet for 30 years. I got this. And he actually shaves his dad, so I'm like, it's great because we're seeing this father and son rebond with each other. A bond that Nate missed because of his father being incarcerated. So it kind of goes back to what Olivia's mom said about a lot of these black boys and black children missing their dads because their dads are not at home being with their kids because their fathers are locked up. So they're only being raised by their mothers. Pretty much this has caused somewhat of a broken family epidemic in the black community. So I was glad that they pointed that out. So then we finally see everybody getting ready for the trial. Then we get the killer. Michaela and Marcus walk in and they run into Asher and the rest of the crew. And he's like, I text you. I told you to come to the hotel. Why didn't you? She's like, oh no, I just had a late night and I just was up working, helping Annalise with the case, lying her ass off. You was riding on Marcus up in that car, getting your life, honey. And then all of a sudden, we see, oh yeah, so then Asher finally introduced himself. Asher's goofy. He's like, oh yes, part-time line student, but full-time, Michaela's man. He's like, oh, it's so good to see you guys. And like, Marcus is like, I'm not even going to feed into that because I'm like, little do you know, your girl was all up on me last night when she should have been with you. So obviously, between the two, Marcus was throwing it down. So then, we see that Asher and Marcus go off, to get, I think, to get registered and all of that. And then the rest of them were reading Michaela for filth, like, please don't tell me you didn't. And then Connor was like, she did. And then I was like, she did what? Screw the press secretary. She's like, he's the former secretary. Like, yeah, but you screwed him. She's like, yeah, I did, but it was a one-time mistake. Don't say anything to Asher. This will crush him. You know, she's like, oh, just like you crushed me heading this case? Connor, you know, said that shit to Michaela, like, bitch, you can't be asking me no favors because I can ruin your shit because you decided to overstep me and decided to take over my spot in the case when I was the one that did a lot of the legwork, you know, while you was over there kissing Tegan's ass. And then now your shit fell off. Now you want to come over here and take my shit. So, but then again, we already know this about Michaela. Michaela wants to be Annalise. She wants to be Tegan, and she wants to be Olivia Pope. Because we seen when in Scandal, when when Fitz came in and Olivia Pope came in, she was like literally stargazed. Like, oh my God, I can't believe it. Oh my God, like you don't know how much this means to me. And and then and then Mark was like, yeah, you just told her ass. Like, so in a way it's just like, yeah, Michaela was just stargazing like shit, and she really wants that light. So she had a card to play and she played it. But then now she's kind of getting played a little bit because now you really have gotten feelings for Marcus, but yet you're still with Asher. And then we also see throughout this episode, Annalise has been getting calls from Jacqueline, Isaac's wife, and she hasn't been answering her phone because she's been focused on her case. Yeah, so we probably found out that the pizza guy was there giving prep questions, so I did mention that before. So we found out that he wasn't leaking any information. He was just giving her prep questions to help with her case. So therefore, we see, Ingrid and Annalise, they're about to sign in, for the case, and we see that Olivia gets a call, and it's because Michaela saw the pizza guy, in the court. So she was like making a tie. Okay, something ain't right here. She got a call about it, but then she comes to find out that all he did was give her prep questions, that he really wasn't giving her any information about the case or anything like that. But yeah, he was doing it as a pizza guy dressed up, because, he probably they probably knew that they were being watched. But then, while they're waiting, Annalise gets a call. And it's Jacqueline. Jacqueline was like, oh, I wish I would have called you, because she pretty much blocked the number and called as an unknown caller. That's when Annalise answered the phone. She's like, oh, Annalise, man, I've been wondering why you haven't answered my calls. Maybe if I would have chose to call you as an unknown caller, you would have answered me sooner. And she pretty much lets her know that, look, I'm right now in an important case. She's like, yeah, I know you're in Washington, D.C., but I need to let you know that Isaac overdosed. And she's like, and he overdosed 3 days ago, and they found him in his car. So she asked, is he dead? And she says, no, he's not dead, but he has kidney failure. And you mentioning Stella sent him over the edge. And she's like, look, I didn't know. I thought I was doing that to tell you the truth. She's like, I already knew. That's why I told you to stay the hell away, but look what you've done. You've ruined him like you ruined everyone else in your life. And I'm like, first of all, bitch, the man had a fucked up problem. Obviously, you really weren't doing that well by his ass because he was still a functional addict trying to help Annalise with her addiction, and he was in no position to do so. So it just goes to show you, because of Stella, that's what sent him over the edge. So you mean to tell me you knew the whole time and you let him feel guilty about that shit, but you never actually, broken that code and you're blaming Annalise for that shit? You a wrong vindictive bitch for that shit, Jacqueline. Because you're the reason why he's fucked up. Because even though that happened, and yes, Stella took his drugs, you knew about it, and you didn't let him know that you knew and that you forgave him or anything. So you allowed that guilt to eat up at him, and he's continued to take it out on himself. So I'm like, yeah, that bitch pissed me off with that. And literally, it broke Annalise down. Annalise literally was like, she just lost her moral fiber. She was out of it. Olivia went to go check her, like, look, you need to get up. She's like, I can't. I just can't do this. And she's not talking about the phone call, but that shit broke Annalise down to the point where she said, so what do you need? Anything you need, I'll get it for you. You want some vodka? Okay, she tells Michaela, get her some vodka. She's like, she can't drink a drink. She'll be just like, look, get her some vodka. This is not a moment for no discussion. Get her some vodka, because we got to do anything to get her up. So she goes with Marcus. They get the vodka. And she pretty much, while they're gone, she kind of lets Annalise know, like, look, Annalise, you need to understand how important you are here. When you go in there, I know it's terrifying. I'm terrified with you. I know you're scared. But at the end of the day, go in there to represent you. You were the one who pretty much grew up in Memphis, but raised the bar and became somebody. Despite all the obstacles that were thrown at you, and despite all the people said that you were never going to make it out. You're representing you in there. Not just these clients, but you're representing you because you stand with them. And you share their fight. And you share, what it means to be railroaded and what it means to be knocked off. You're now fighting for them to get a fighting chance, and the fact that we need to fix our judicial system so that every human being has rights. So I was like, okay, Libby, you're getting her together. So finally, Michaela and Marcus show up with the vodka, and, she's saying that, well, I don't think she should do it. She's like, get the hell out of here. You're not helping. You need to go. Olivia talking to Marcus and Michaela. And she says that, look, what's inside this bottle is already inside of you. But if you need to feel that you need to take a drink, go ahead. And that got Annalise up off that floor, and she was ready to go. So yeah. But then also what I noticed that once, when Olivia sent Michaela to get the bottle and she went right to Marcus and pulled him up and they go run off, immediately there was those question marks going off Ash's head like, yo, what the hell is going on? And why the hell you all up on my girl? So it's going to definitely rub Asher some kind of way. And we know Asher will run a motherfucker over. So you don't want to cross him because it could be real bad. Because, Ash has been through a lot with his father committing suicide, him being disowned by his mom, him killing the attorney. Ash got a lot going on. So we pretty much see that when Annalise finally goes in, because they were literally counting down. If she didn't show up in court in time, they were going to throw the thing completely out the window. And she actually made it in there in time. And, she makes her case. And this Judge Strickland, the one who's got the favors with Ingrid, he was going in on Annalise. And she's saying that, don't interrupt me. You were shutting down everything she was saying. But then you had some of the judges who were agreeing with her, and then some that were not on certain aspects of it. So she sees that Strickland wants to take her head off. And he is just saying, oh, so you're saying that this case is about race? Because I just thought it was about people not getting fair judgment treatment, by the judicial system. Are you saying it's about race? And she says, well, yes, I am. And he's like, well, the thing is, your opening testament didn't say anything about it being about race. So therefore, they were up in arms with that. But then she said that, you know what? She started thinking, and Olivia was saying that, look, everything you say counts. Everything you speak about counts. So then it finally dawned on her, oh, let me get a rebuttal. And she writes down this case, gives it to Michaela. She says, get this case. We're going to lose if you don't find this. So her and Marcus go and they find the case and everything. We had seen before they were about to go into court. Annalise's parents came in and she had made like some soup or whatever, and she was trying to give it to Annalise, and she was having, you know, her mother suffers from dementia, so she was having an episode, and she just gets so frantic that she spilled the soup all over Olivia's jacket. But Olivia was like, you know, just go ahead, Annalise, you got this. I'm gonna take care of your mom. I got you cared for. And we see the mother and her in the bathroom. She's trying to clean off her jacket, but she sits down. She says, you know what? You two have a lot in common. You guys are a lot alike. So it goes back that they really are the same. Because she says you guys like to help a lot of people before you help yourselves. You guys are consumed with helping others that you forget to take care of yourself. And she pretty much says, and she pretty much tells Olivia, I used to be you. You know, I was never, you know, in politics or wasn't rich or anything like that, but people always needed me. And I was always there to serve them. And she's saying that, look, I'm doing the same now. I'm trying to be here for my daughter, you know, and sometimes, you know, I forget to take care of myself. So even though she has these episodes, she does have moments of clarity. And Olivia connected with Annalise's mom, and she's saying that, no, you're just being a good mother. So we see that the two of them had a connection, and that was awesome. So we see that Michaela and Marcus end up finding the rebuttal, and they had a certain amount of time to come in and get it, or it was all going to go out the window. So they finally come in, and she starts reading this opening statement about this case that was done in 1985, and pretty much the guy who was trying the case pretty much said that, you know, race is a variable. And he's saying that, and then Judge Strickland was like, oh, please, don't come up in here with answers that you had before. And she says, well, that's just it. The person who said this was you. You said this back in 1985 when you was leading a case against a lottery program. That shut his ass right the fuck up. So she pretty much pulled that, yeah, you do have racial tendencies, and she literally put it out there that this is what you said. It's documented. So Annalise worked it, and she pretty much put it out there that, look, you know, racism is in the DNA of America, and if we don't stop this, we are never going to escape the origins. You know, if we don't stop this system of oppression, you know, all citizens are given the right to defensive counsel, and we won't even give that to the lower community, you know, which violates their civil rights and their civil duties. So she goes in, she's saying that, look, Jim Crow is still alive, you know, and it seems to me that it's all about lining the pockets of prison owners than making sure that these young people have effective counsel to represent them in court. Again, check out Legal Shield and ID Shield. I have that link in the description box. Today, make it your decision to get legal representation that you can get access to 24/7 anywhere in the country. So definitely check out my link for Legal Shield and ID Shield in the description box, because this spoke volumes. It not only spoke volumes to what I do as a senior associate with Legal Shield, but it spoke volumes to what all Black America is going through right now with the judicial system, with, you know, that, you know, there's pretty much things in the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence that are great things, but they're not being applied to every American citizen. And she says this is what has to stop. You know, we need to put this conflict, we need to put the Constitution, you know, to practice, that we all are created equal and that we all deserve defense and legal representation when it's needed, even the ones who really can't afford a lot of money. You know, and she pretty much says that this is really a fight, is that are we going to be more about money than human beings, or are we going to put criminality over mental health? Because this is exactly what happened to Nick Lahey. He was a man who, due to mental issues, acted out, and he did the unthinkable by killing a cop. But, you know, she's saying that there are a lot of cases like this where people weren't given good legal representation. And then, but she said that, look, let's now make a stand so that all citizens will have equal rights, and that every citizen has a right to defensive counsel. And I was like, yes, Annalise, you better tell it. That was very powerful, because she had everybody moved. Even Nick Jr., even Nate Sr. was moved. Everybody was moved. And then when she sat down and Ingrid went up to do her, to pretty much do her defense, she sat there and Nate Jr. touched her and he said, "You did your best." So he said, "You got my respect because ain't nobody ever fought like me the way that you did." That damn near moved me to tears because he finally gave credence to her and said that you did your best. So regardless whether I had to serve for the rest of my life, I can't honestly say that there was nobody that never fought for me because you just fought for me in the best way. And then you fought for me in the Supreme Court. So that was very powerful. So we see that, we actually see that Nate, pretty much Nate Sr. and Nate Jr., he actually, introduces, Nate Sr. to Annalise's parents, and they immediately click. So I'm thinking, maybe Annalise may end up being back together, but we just got to keep watching to see. But it's obvious that Nate's still in love with Annalise, and Annalise still has feelings for him too, but she's not trying to go down that road. I mean, we all know they got a sort of history with each other. But, so then after that, we actually see that, so pretty much we see that Bonnie meets up again with Frank, and, they talk on the phone, and she says that, look, I don't find nothing about Wes and money or whatever, so you're going to have to tell Laurel about this. So he said that, all right, and he pretty much searches through Laurel's apartment, and he remembered like where Wes found, and he looked in the same place where Wes found that phone, that had Sam Keating's picture that he had sent to the dead girl in the first season. He goes in there and he finds a chip, and it's a chip. And all of a sudden, Laurel comes back from D.C. and she's like, "Look, I know you want to do some romantic stuff. I'm just not in the mood right now." And he lets her know, "Your mother has been lying to you." And she plays it, and she actually sees that her mother is talking to Wes. And Wes is like, "Look, I'm not going for this. I'm going to tell Laurel about this." And so now she realizes, okay, somebody on her side killed Wes, and it was for a totally different reason. So because of Wes' connection to Laurel is what got him killed. So Laurel was shocked, and I'm like, yeah, bitch, you was talking all this buku shit, and then come to find out your family was behind what happened to Wes. So we're gonna find out, I think, next week what actually happened to Wes and how Wes actually was killed, and who was really behind it. So then we actually see that Olivia and Annalise have a moment. They pretty much say that, we just have to wait to see how it's going to go. And Annalise is like, yeah, I'm hopeful, but I need it in writing. And pretty much they kind of part ways, and, she pretty much tells Annalise to take care of herself and everything. And then Annalise gets a call from Bonnie, and she says, we have an issue. I'm at the hospital. She's like, what's going on? Simon is awake. So they got some shit coming down the creek, because if Simon starts singing, there's going to be a lot of heads on the chopping block, because Simon knows about them, about that whole little operation that was going on. And, Simon was the one who kind of busted them when he accidentally shot himself with the gun. So now Simon's awake. The question is he sane enough to remember what happened that night? So that's what I have, y'all. If I missed anything, put it down in the comments. I'd love to hear from you. But subscribe to my channel. Click that bell so you get notifications every time I drop a video. Also, again, check out Legal Shit on ID Shield. I have that link in the description box, as well as my other social platforms. So, yeah, definitely check out Legal Shit on ID Shield, as well as follow me on all of my other social platforms that are listed in the description box. Also, like this video, comment on this video, and share this video, and I'll be back with the next episode of How to Get Away with Murder. Man, both Scandal and How to Get Away with Murder gave me life. And I'm so happy that I finally got a chance to do this review. I'm sorry that it's late, but hey, better late than never. So until next time, everybody, take care.